Great. Okay. So this is Wednesday. We're going over Emily format for a research essay with Sarah Warner. And we opened up the screen by looking at her essay. And now we're looking at the Emily formatting guide published by Purdue University. And so the question was looking at how to properly cite an image or a figure or a graph. So we're looking at the screen now, and Emily has been updated. Emily Modern Language Association format has been updated a little bit in the last 10 years or so, but it doesn't really impact what you're asking for. It has more to deal with the works cited page. So let's get on to looking at a figure. And you're doing this correct, I think. It's hard to say because looking at your essay and looking at the spacing on the screen, it seems that your line from this line to this line has a little more spacing on your essay. So you want to check that in your Word document. And the best way I found anyway to check it is when you highlight the entire section and then open up the paragraph tab.
So what I've been doing with the essay is I go to the paragraph tab, and then when it brings up the system, I put 0 on all the right, and I only put the double, and the only time when I switch it to hanging was on the citation. So I don't know if I was doing it right.
Okay, so let's stop share here. Let's go back to your essay and see if I can find your essay. Here's your essay. This is your essay, correct? Okay, so yes. Let's see if I can download the original submitted document. Okay, so it's in a PDF format. So let me stop share here, go back and share your essay. So this is what was submitted to the site. And it's in a PDF, so it's a little hard to do.
Do you want me to get on my computer and send you a Word copy of it?
Yeah, or actually, let me change the settings here so you can share your document. Stop share.
I'll be sending you a link to share it. So I'll be sending it to your email.
Okay.
I just gotta get logged on.
Here, you can share it now on your computer.
Okay. Hang on one sec. My Zoom's on my phone. The joy of electronics today.
Yeah. I know many students that write essays on their phone. I could never do that. It was always a challenge for me.
So I don't write my essays on my phone. The only time I do is like if my iPad or my computer gives out.
Right.
But a lot of times I'm either on my iPad or on my computer, and I'm going back and forth.
Right.
Because there's times where I'm in the vehicle and I can't be on my laptop.
Yeah. It makes sense. It makes perfect sense. I think it's there's a writing scholar who did a study in response to an argument that students were not reading and writing as much as they used to. And the study was done about 15 years ago, and maybe 12 years ago. But what she found actually was that students are reading and writing more than ever because of the electronic device, because of social media, because of the cell phone, the iPad. So actually, you are reading and writing more than my generation.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Little trivia. Her name is Andrea Lunsford. She's a professor at Stanford, and her webpage for her faculty profile is very cool, very modern. It's like a Pinterest where you got images and you click on the image and it opens up an essay.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So for a woman who's in her late 70s, she's very cool. But back in the day, she was the voice for writing.
Okay, so
you can't open it on yours. I can try and see if you send it to me and I can open it.
It's just my internet's running slow. I could open it. It's taking a minute. I apologize.
No problem. No problem. But that's one way to check is I just highlight everything, and then okay. Let's see if I can open
your DRAMs are at lassencollege.edu, right?
lassencollege.edu. Yes, correct.
Okay. Okay, you should be getting an email from my Lassen College email with the link.
Okay, I'm looking for it now. Here it is.
And I'll be able to see where you're at on this side. It's just I can't see like the options you're pressing, right. But yeah.
Okay. And I'm opening up your essay, but I don't know if you can see the screen.
Can you see? I can't see the screen on the Zoom yet, so you're going to have to share that.
Let me open it up. I think this is it here, correct? Now you can see it?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. So you can highlight everything, and then this is opening up in a different layout that I'm used to. So let's see if I can do view.
Oh, you want to right click on the highlight to bring up the paragraph options on the bottom.
Okay, right click. Okay, paragraph options. Okay.
And so as you see, I left the alignment to the left.
Yeah.
Before and after to 0 in line spacing double.
Okay. I wonder why it appears larger. I'm going to open up a Word document.
I kind of wonder if it might be like a certain setting in my Word that may seem larger and affecting it. Get back on a leash. They're here to do the gutters. I don't know where the leash is. The leash should be over there, or it should be in the bathroom.
Okay. So I just copied that little section. I put it in a new Word document.
Okay.
Can you see it okay? So maybe it's just my eye thinks it's different. So I'll open up the paragraph tab. Oh, that's it. I thought so. See where it says spacing before and after?
Yes.
You have 8. So the spacing after the line is going to cause the next line to drop down a little further. And you have line spacing is multiple. So it could be your program itself is not correct. So I'm going to do this to double, even though you said it was, right? I could see. So I'm putting this to 0, spacing after, and the line spacing I have doubled. Now let's see what happens to the highlighted section and see if you can see what I see. That's correct. Okay, so this is what it is.
Yeah,
this is the new one.
That's totally way
This is the new one, and that's the old one.
Okay, yeah, that's totally way different because I'm going to do the same here.
Yeah. Now, that said, it's not critical for this class and for this level, but there will be a instructor who will say, nope,
Okay. So I do need to keep in mind that later on
Yeah,
in the future I might come across a professor
exactly.
that might be stingy on that.
Right, right. And you can see that the spacing tab here before and after should be zeros.
Okay.
So you had the zero on the left indent and the right indent, and you're nothing special for the hanging, but line spacing should be double. When I highlighted it, it came up as multiple spacing.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, garbage.
And it should be double.
Garbage.
Anyway, just so you know.
Okay.
So let's go back to the essay because that's why we're here. Okay, so now you should be able to see the essay.
Yes.
Okay. And just because I've been looking at essays so many years, my eye can detect when it's not. Another way of checking is I would hold essays upside down, and you can see the line spacing that way. Right.
Okay.
Anyway, so moving on. So the spacing is a little off. The title is a little different. Every image needs to have some citation that identifies what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to share, and this is one of the files I sent you. This is from Purdue University.
Okay.
See.
Can you see it okay?
Yes.
Okay. So this has, and this is the pretty recent one. I think it was published last year in 2023. So it's pretty up to date. And for MLA, this is the format. For APA, for your psychology, sociology, education classes, it's going to be a little different format. But the line spacing is the same for everything. It's always double space. The size of the font is always 12-point font. The style of the font is always Times New Roman. But so that it's the same whether it's APA or Chicago or MLA. It's just the works cited page is a little different. So this is still going to be pretty much the same whether it's MLA or APA or Chicago. That's always the same. The longer the essay, you may have some headings and subheadings, but I wouldn't worry about it right now, maybe for your next class.
Okay.
So the essay should look like this. You'll see that the spacing between the 2008 and the title is the same as between 2008 and 106.
Okay.
You see that the student's name, professor's name, class name, and date.
Okay, so the date goes down on the bottom.
Yeah. No problem. So you may have section headings for a longer essay, but not for these essays. These essays aren't that long. But if you are going to have a longer essay, this is the instructions to follow for MLA.
Okay.
And this is an example of how you can have an in-text citation and have a lower percentage where you only copy some of the keywords, not the whole sentence, like spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. Those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words are quoted, but the sentence has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 words and 5. So they have 14 words. So there's only 5 of those 14 words that is quoted.
Okay.
So that'll help the percentage. But it's not just the percentage, it's also what the non-quoted words are doing. They're analyzing and they're explaining to the reader why those quoted words are there.
Okay. And that's what I noticed that I didn't do after I submitted it. I looked over it and I'm like,
yeah.
Oh Lord, I can't believe I did that.
It's like learning a language. Did you ever take a language in class in school?
I did take a ASL because I am half deaf, so I have to wear hearing aids.
Okay, so when you're learning signing, right? Did it take you a while to learn that because it's different?
Oh, trust me, I'm still learning it.
Okay. So it's a language. Every language has its own set of rules, and writing is another language. So
I agree with you.
Yeah. Okay. So there's an in-text citation. More about that, but that's another. What we're looking for is the pictures, graphs, charts, so forth.
Yes. So when I was doing this, I was confused on how to put the photos. I'm like, okay, so do I put it like at the beginning of the paragraph or on top of the paragraph?
Yeah.
So I was like going back and forth and stuff. So I was like, okay, I think I just said leave it as big as they are right now, just
Yeah.
in case. And
Yeah.
if I do it wrong, then
Yeah.
because at first I thought putting it like at like small but not as big at the beginning of the sentence, like a small letter,
Yeah.
would work.
Right. At this for this class, I wouldn't worry about it. Just be aware of the rules for this language.
Okay.
So here's an essay, and I sent you this essay in the inbox on Canvas.
Okay.
So what I like about this sample essay is that it's writing in the margin to describe what's going on.
Yeah, I seen that. It gives how
Right.
do I say, explanations.
Right. And here's an example of this picture on the screen.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So it depends on who you're working with in your next class as to what size that image is going to be. Generally speaking, it should have equal space on either side, on the left margin and the right margin. But for right now, we're just concerned with how to cite it.
Okay.
So here you have figure 1. You have the author of that image, what it is. This citation is a little old because we don't underline anymore. We italicize the publisher. So this is a 2002, so it's an old citation. This should not be underlined. We don't underline anymore.
Okay.
But everything else is pretty much the same.
Okay. So
and in this case, this picture is within a large paragraph that is indented. See how it's indented?
uh-huh.
So that's called a block format. And the way a block format is set up is you have the sentence, you've got colon, the 2 dots.
Uh-huh.
Then you have this tabbed in a block format for sentences, 4 sentences or longer. And for this picture, they have it included in that block format, which is why that block format quote continues.
Okay.
But this is in the sample. I sent you this same essay for you to look at.
Okay. Yeah, I have it
Okay.
pulled up right here.
Yeah. So that's a pretty good example.
Okay, so next time I need to block format my quotes, and also
if you have a large quote, but not for this class. I don't like block quotes because the essays aren't that long.
Okay.
The block quote, for example, this essay that's on the screen is 7.5 pages with citation. So I'm guessing it's probably about 2,000 words.
Okay.
And your essays are 1,500. So I think for a shorter essay like yours, block quotes are not needed because again, you're making the reader do all the work of analyzing what those words that you're quoting mean and how to put it in context.
Okay.
But for a longer essay, you could do a block quote. Just be careful that when you have too many block quotes in an essay, your instructor may ask you, why are you making me do all the work? I want to see, right? You're supposed to be doing the analysis.
Okay.
So there's that essay. So let's go back and take a look at your essay again. Wait, where's your essay? Okay. Where are you? Did I lose you?
Nope, I'm still
Okay.
here.
Okay. Okay. I've got so many tabs open. Okay. So now you got your essay. Can
Yes.
you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So there's that situation with citing what this image is from, right? So right below it, you have to write figure 1, who created, what the title of it is, where it came from, the publisher, and the published date. So that looks okay. Let me wait. This is not your, I'm sorry. Let me close this tab. I'm getting confused. Let me go back to.
Hey, Daniel, can you hand my printed copy that's on the washer in there of the papers and bring it to me, sweetie?
Okay, now your essay's on the screen. The one that you submitted.
Okay.
Can you see it okay?
Yes, I could see
okay.
it.
Okay. So so here you have the title, drinking and driving, a statistic, then you have a period. I personally never want to see a sentence start with a quotation mark. And here it starts with a quotation mark, which suggests to me that this is a floating quote. Yep, there's a period. So this quote, this 5-sentence quote does not have analysis and context. It's just there.
Okay.
And I know that because if I were to click on this number over here, it would highlight this entire quote and show me where it came from. Now, you did cite the source, although a lowercase AEF, I don't know what that is.
It's the website of the source where that information came from.
Okay, so you may want to check how to properly cite that. I only know of one source that is lowercase, and that's because the writer deliberately writes in lowercase as a political statement. But other than that one writer, that one poet, everything is always uppercase, lowercase.
Okay.
So you want to check that source, and again, go to Purdue's webpage, and they'll help you cite a web page.
Okay.
It's also in that handout I gave you, and it's also in that sample essay. But the sample essay has titles underlined because it's older. So you may want to make sure that it's always italicized for the publisher.
Okay.
So this is a block quote. This is a bunch of words that doesn't have analysis. So I don't know what it means, and I'll skip over it.
Okay. So that was one mistake that I did is I need to have a meaning to it and shorten it up.
Yeah. If you can think of do you drink coffee?
Every now and then, yes.
Okay. Or do you drink tea?
No tea.
No? Okay. I'm thinking of coffee because if you drink coffee, you'll add cream to it, but not a lot of cream, right? Just a little bit.
Uh-huh.
So the same thing with a quote. A quote is like the cream. The coffee is your writing. So you want to have a little bit of quote for each sentence or for the sentences, not a whole bunch.
Okay.
Because otherwise you can't taste the coffee.
Yeah, that's true.
If there's too many, like this sentence here doesn't have analysis, doesn't have the coffee.
Okay, so I need to go back and add the coffee.
Yeah, absolutely, to use that analogy. Right. So let's say like 7 parts you're writing, 3 parts the quote.
Okay.
And that's a pretty good percentage to use. And that'll keep your percentage of what's being cited to a minimum. You can even go through that sentence that you want to quote and find the key words, the nouns and the verbs that are critical, and just copy those, just quote those. Everything else will be your analysis.
Okay.
Like Johnny rode his bike to the store. Johnny rode his quote unquote green bike to the store. Green is the key word here. To buy some Pepsi. So I'm just quoting green because for some reason green is critical.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yes,
So
it does.
Think of like a 7-to-3 ratio.
A 7-to-3 ratio. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So this the sentence that follows the quote should be analysis of what those words were. So this is talking about something else, I think. I don't know. It should refer back to what was quoted, so the reader understands why that quote was there. The whole sandwich thing of analysis and context.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay, and the same thing with this image here. It needs to have a citation and why it's included.
No, but no. Sorry, I'm taking down notes as we go through it.
Yeah. So every piece of data that is not your own words needs to be properly identified and needs to be introduced with analysis and context. Analysis being why those words, why that image is being included, and context, how does this fit with fit within the paragraph and within the argument of the essay, the thesis statement.
Okay.
So if National Police Association is critical to your argument, it should be stated so.
Okay.
Okay. And just FYI, I reduced my Zoom membership to free, so I've got 40 minutes of recording. I got 10 more minutes. I get 10 more minutes. Sorry about that.
No worries.
And I don't know how to use the Lassen Tech Connect Zoom without inviting the whole class.
Oh, no.
Okay, so you have that. Again, here's another sentence. Alcohol impairs drivers. That's a floating quote. I don't know what it means because there's no analysis of context. The 7-3 ratio is not there.
Okay.
And in this sentence here, you're talking about how there's 32,000 traffic fatalities every year because of impaired drivers. So you don't need to quote all those other words. The key words here is the number, I think, right? 32,000 traffic fatalities because of impaired drivers.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right. Again, it's a new language, and academic writing is a new language. It's not like talking to your friend. It's got its own set of rules. Again, every image requires, if there's a figure, why is this figure, what is this image telling me? So an image should be like a bunch of words. What are those words telling me or showing me? And I don't know why this image is here unless you're trying to identify this this 501c, the ANA, the ANA Educational Foundation.
Yes.
Going back to your citation earlier, where you had the lowercase AEF.
Uh-huh.
It should be the ANA Education Foundation. It's not AEF.
Oh, okay.
Right? That's another little thing. Now, if you want to use an acronym, what you do is you introduce the full name, ANA Education Foundation, in parentheses, AEF, and then you could reference AEF afterwards, but only after you first introduce ANA Education Foundation.
Okay.
That's another little rule, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Again, the image needs to have a citation. You know, figure 3 and where it came from. Okay. Now for this class, I want to see 2 in-text citations in every paragraph.
Yeah. So I have an issue with that. I ain't saying I kind of made the decision not to do that. So the topic, so my format of my textbook is completely different. Like there's some stuff that should be like in, for example, a chapter, and it'll wind up being in the next chapter above, like on the wrong page or whatever. So I have a really messed up like online textbook at the current moment.
Oh,
And I
it's
don't.
fine. It's fine. I'm not worried about the textbook. But my objective as an instructor in the class is to help students learn how to write by quoting a source in every paragraph. So I want to have you quote 2 sources in every paragraph.
Oh, okay. So
right?
you're not talking like in text as the textbook. You're talking about like in text citations from.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's another thing. So this language has synonyms. Quote is the same thing as citation, which is the same thing as source, which is the same thing as reference, which is the same thing as in text citation.
Okay.
They all mean the same thing. Quoted source in the paragraph. So I want to see 2 examples of how the student writer included a source in the paragraph for every paragraph. Because in academic writing, that's what we do. We reference other things to support our argument.
Okay.
And this paragraph has your words, but does not have someone else's words.
Okay, so I need to add quotes as
exactly.
when I'm explaining my own words.
Exactly.
Okay.
In every paragraph. Again, all images need to have a citation. This was what, figure 5 now? And this paragraph, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's a little short. Most paragraphs are 5 to 7 sentences long. A topic sentence, bless you, 4 supporting sentences, and a transition sentence connecting it to the next paragraph.
Okay.
This one has 4 sentences. And the topic, I think, is grief. So all these, so
yes.
those 4 sentences should be supporting grief in the context of this argument about drunk driving.
Okay.
This next paragraph does not have any in-text citations, quotation marks, sources, references, quotes. So I want to see 2 in every paragraph. The same thing in this one, 2 in every paragraph. And we're excited. Okay, this is it's alphabetical. So you got C, this should be S, should be later. Anna should be the first. So the alphabetical order of the citations needs to be A, B, C. And you have C, S, A. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, so let me click. We only have a few more minutes left on this thing. Let me click on this so you can see visually what I'm talking about or what the computer is showing. If I go up here. So you have that number 7 citation. It all came from this one source.
Okay.
So you got to make sure that so that's floating. This one's okay. That's okay. Although I think those words appear to be found on the web the same way. This one is a quote. That's okay. So it's not plagiarism. It's just not integrated with analysis and context.
Oh, okay. So I did like basically what I did is I did set up my quotes right and stuff. So technically it's marking.
Yeah. Just like you're at a party. This is my friend, Sally. She and I went to high school. In fact, in 10th grade, she said, quote, blah, 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 blah. And it busted up the class. We couldn't stop laughing.
Okay.
Okay, so you got all this, your words before and your words afterwards to explain what that quote was from Sally in 10th grade.
Okay.
Same thing. Think of an essay like a big conversation you're having, where you're introducing people you met and why you want to quote them because they're important to what you're trying to say.
Okay.
So that's all it is. It's just So the percentage, this number over here, 25, is not critical. Depends on how it's framed. So I think the biggest problem is you have floating quotes, meaning they're quotes that do not have does not have an introduction or context. Right?
Okay.
So that's the biggest thing. Other than that, it looks pretty good. The topic certainly is credible and critical. Drunk driving is a serious problem. Deaths from alcohol and drugs are critical. So the pictures need to have citations, correct citations. The quotes need to be introduced with analysis and context, just like you're introducing your friend Sally at the party. This is my best friend Sally from high school. In fact, in 10th grade, she said, blah, 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 which busted up the class, and Mr. Stein had to kick us all out for the day. So now we understand Sally.
Yes.
Right? Same thing when you write, except now your task as a writer is to take all these quotes from your friends to support your argument, and that's why you should never make a joke in a class.
Okay.
Right? Or that's why Sally is a good friend, because we found each other's humor to be hilarious, whatever the argument was, right?
Yeah. So, okay, with all this being said, do I need to resubmit, or what kind of grade am I looking at?